Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody, and for tuning in. A big, big welcome. Our final live stream of the year for 2021.
We did it! Yay!
We all made it through. No, a big welcome. We are joined by a very special few guests tonight, some second-year students of AIE, as they've just finished wrapping up their major production, which was a 15-week. I feel probably like a marathon for some of the students.
That's certainly a challenge.
But on the other side of it now, with some terrific projects to show for it. So through tonight, we'll be looking at Splatacle and also be looking at the Pound. So if anyone does have any questions throughout this live stream, please pop them in chat and we'll get them answered. But other than that, I'll let Emma introduce the students that I've got here with us and start the show. So take it away, Emma.
Thank you. So again, a big thank you for everyone who's joining us with us tonight. We are so excited to have our second year students who are also recent graduates. So congratulations to all of you. A big win. You did it. You're ready to enter the industry now.
Yes,
and of course,
I'm ready.
Yeah, exactly. So this major production, for anyone who doesn't know, is an epic 15-week-long subject that goes where all of the different streams combine together. So we've got the art, programming, and design stream. They come together and they make games in different teams, and it's like it's studio simulated. So every student gets experience what it's like actually working in the industry by working on a game, coming up with their projects and all of that, and then the game can often be used as a portfolio piece to get you a job, hopefully. Fingers crossed, everyone. So what we might do is I might let each of you introduce yourself. We'll go in order from like Michael to Jibrill, and you could all introduce yourself and say your name, what campus you're from, and what course you studied. So take it away.
I'm Michael. Study on the Adelaide campus this year, and last year I did the intensive online, so that was 6 months doing a year course. I did game design for all of it, but I did a bit of programming and a bit of art as well. So
awesome.
Noah.
Hello, I'm Noah. I was actually studying in the Canberra campus. I was doing intensive online with Michael last year, so that was an intense 6 months of dealing with him. I also studied design.
I'm Jibrill. I am on the Canberra campus, physical, and I am doing I just finished the advanced diploma, also in design. So I think we have 3 designers here tonight.
I've worked with everyone in this room. It's great.
No, it's the glue that holds everyone together.
For sure.
So yeah, we've got our designers here tonight who are able to give us a bit of an overview of all of the different sections and some of the really cool details about the different games. So what we might do is we're going to start focusing on Splatacle first, and then we're going to move into the Pound after we've had a bit of a chat about Splatacle. So what we might do is we might do you guys want to give us a little short summary, and then we might look at your trailer of your game? So give us like a 1 minute summary of like what Splatacle's about.
Yeah, I can.
Jibrill, take it away.
Yeah. So Splatacle is a wacky 2D action platformer where you can't use any of your limbs. Instead, you have to rely on this giant tentacle appendage that you can shoot out of your body, and you can use it to grapple and bounce around the map. And you've got to swing through our various levels and make it to the end without losing your limbs and dying.
Yay! Awesome. Well, let's have a look at the Splatacle trailer. Matt, if you could put that one up for us.
what a great game.
If you do say so yourself. No, I also love in your trailer the music. I'm always like dancing along to it while it's happening. So
Oh yeah, I love the music as well.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. So can you give us a rundown of how many people were you in your team and like what the division was between like artists, programmers, designers, that sort of stuff?
Sure, I actually got the list right here. So we had 3 designers, including myself and Jibrill. We got 3 amazing artists. We had 3 sound designers and 2 programmers.
So yours was a pretty even project across the board in like regards to different teams, because some projects, for everyone who doesn't know, the projects are pretty much based on where students are interested in that. Sometimes it can have 5 artists, like 2 programmers and 2 designers, or it really just depends on what's actually needed for that project. So there's not a set amount of people. So what was it like working with a pretty even team across the board? Did you find that it was easy to get a lot of stuff done because you had a lot of people to bounce off from?
I would say indeed. Jibrill might be able to relate here, but having so many artists, you kind of just, all the work gets done so quickly, and we were here just trying to scramble to find something for them to do.
Now, the art...
I mean, sorry.
No, you go first.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say we did have that issue since the the art style of the game is quite simple, so they were able to pop out stuff really quickly. So it was a lot of like design had to rush to get stuff, so art had stuff to do.
They kept you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the art in your game is really, really interesting. So as people saw in the trailer, and we might see if we can actually get it up on the screen now, if that's possible. So it looks like a 2D game, obviously, but do you guys want to talk about what's actually really sneaky about Splatacle?
You want to do that,
sure.
and I'll
So,
get into it?
Yeah, for sure. So we did do a little bit of cheekiness. So all the objects in the background are actually 3D assets that are using an unlit material, so they don't respond to light in any way. And so pairing that with like an orthographic camera, all the assets look 2D, but they're actually 3D models. And so what this let us do is we could use the same model in different places and just rotate it and make it bigger or smaller, and it will look like a completely different 2D asset, even though it's the exact same model. So that let us, again, pump out a whole bunch of stuff and really fill out the rooms quite easily. We could create a lot of variation with the same assets just by doing a little bit of trickery.
Just like, yeah, the cameras.
Yeah, those cameras are 3D, and the fans in the background are 3D. The fence is 3D. There are a couple of 2D assets, like if you can see like that light shaft coming down out of the light, that's a 2D just image of a light.
Yep. Same with all the signs you see.
Yeah, but a majority of the assets in the background are 3D, but they all look 2D.
Awesome. Yeah. So do you want to touch on a little bit of the story that goes in behind your game? Because obviously people can see that you've got your little tentacle and you're trying to escape. So do you want to touch on like what the story is and like how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, sure. So it's quite light on narrative, the game itself, but the premise is that you are some kind of experiment created in this big scientific lab, and you are trying to escape. And throughout the game, you see this cat that appears in different places, and as you get further into the game, you'll start to find that the cat is laying traps for you, and it's closing doors and shooting spikes at you and just trying to stop you from escaping. So
here's the cat right here.
Yeah, there's the cat right now. And in this next section, you'll see the cat try to maliciously murder you. But that's the premise of the game. It's pretty simple and quite light. You're just an experiment trying to escape a facility, and there's a cat trying to stop you from doing so. And
we think so. Sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, the narrative was born from just like from the gameplay, really. We kind of started with the gameplay and then had the narrative come out of that rather than the other way around, just because we had this wacky, silly gameplay, and we kind of wanted some context to kind of wrap the experience in. So we thought it might be funny to have a cat as a nemesis, and we kind of went on from there.
Easy. What is something that makes your game like really special for players who want to have a go at it?
I was made with blood, sweat, tears, and most importantly, love.
A great answer. Because I love, like, I've played it obviously quite a few times now, and I love the format of it, and I think that every level is like really cool on how much detail's actually in the background. Like, there's always things that I'm noticing every time I go through. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, the artist certainly did an amazing job with that.
And we were talking about just before the live stream. So here on the Canberra campus, we've got the VFX students, and one of the students actually created a little Easter egg in each of our Canberra games. So if you see, you've got to spot the little ducky if any of you go to play the game. But yeah, it's really awesome. So is there any like details in it that you guys love that you think, oh yeah, I'm really proud that we were able to put that stuff in?
Jibrill, you want to go first?
This might be different. Yeah, I mean, this might be different for you, Noah, but I don't know if there's a whole lot now. It's probably in the earlier sections of the game, but there's a lot of stuff that you can pick up and throw around, and like there's some punching bags that you can smack into and knock around and stuff like that. Like just little bits of physics toys that you can kind of play around with. They don't really have any huge impact on the game. They're just little things that you can play with. I'm really happy with how those went in, because before we had that stuff, the levels were really static. There wasn't a lot of stuff that you could do other than fly through them, which is fine. But I think once we were able to get that kind of those fun little physics toys in, it helped push us towards a more wacky, fun game and it kind of opened the floodgates to lots of little silly things that we wanted to put in. So I mean, personally for me, I'm really happy with the little physics toys that we got in. So earlier, like Noah picked up the camera and threw it at a guy, and the enemies you can pick up and fling them around in circles and throw them really fast and stuff like that. Those little physics bits that you can kind of play around with the tentacle are quite fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts, I might be a little biased because I just like going fast in like platform games, but I just love the movement. I love the options you have. I love how you can just freeform everything, do whatever you want, and eventually get where you're trying to go.
Yeah, like I feel like there's so many ways you can get
climb,
through.
You can just jump slowly. Just multiple options, even though it's not as many options as other games. It's enough to help you build up speed and get through the various puzzles and fun stuff throughout the game.
Yeah, definitely. What was the process like for you guys from pre-production to like, actually like showing the game off to industry and stuff like that? Was there a phase that you guys loved the most in regards to
it? I'd say that most of them were equally intense/stressful. Definitely towards the end, things became a lot easier. I think the hardest part was definitely the beginning, when we were still formulating what the game was and stuff like that. But I think towards the end, everybody had a good idea of what the game was. Everybody knew what we wanted to do. We were all kind of aligned to the same goals, which made it a lot easier and just a lot more fun to work on, I think, because once everybody was on the same page and everybody was in the same had the same idea about the game, everybody could bounce ideas off each other, and everybody was coming up with cool stuff to jam in the game before we had to ship it at the end.
Before the due date.
So, I mean, for me, it was before the due date. For me, it was the last few weeks when we had that opportunity to really just add whatever little bits of fun stuff we wanted to.
Yeah, that's great. I liked the communication throughout the team the entire way through. Like, there was little to no arguments or anything of that. Everyone knew what we wanted, what we would just throw around, and like someone just be like, "I got you, fam," and they were able to do it quite quickly and efficiently, and that really helped us make the game quickly and just add more things we didn't initially plan, like the amount of detail in each level. originally that was just going to be a flat background. We called it a day, but because the artist did such an amazing job, we could just keep on adding and adding, which eventually made the game look so good.
Yeah, and so obviously in Canberra we had lockdown for like a significant portion of your game development process. What was it like? Actually having to deal with the struggles of that, as well as like balancing trying to create a project that you guys were really proud of.
I've actually been doing the entire thing online, so nothing really changed for me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, obviously lockdown comes with some intense stresses outside of school and the project, which each team member kind of had to run through themselves. But in terms of like the team working together, Canberra campus got kind of merged with the Melbourne online campus a little bit, like halfway through the year.
Students.
Yeah, so we already had some experience working with people that, you know, weren't in the same room as us, and so that transition from being on campus and online to all being online wasn't too devastating for us.
Yeah.
We actually went into It's funny, we went into lockdown in Canberra on the very first day of production. The very start. The first day was our snap lockdown. But
yeah, no, it was a challenge, but I will say, like, having the online campus be like such a big part of Canberra now did make it a lot easier because we were set up for that. So it was really great. You know, I was like at home and I was like, oh, let me check in on how the teams are doing, and I was like, oh, they're doing really cool things. That's cool. So it made it really easy to actually, like, you know, and encouraging to see how well you guys were doing, you know, from a staff perspective as well, which was really cool. Now, obviously, COVID was one of the challenges, but there's lots of other challenges that come with just making a game as well. Do you want to touch on some of the like bigger challenges that you kind of overcame throughout the project?
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about the. Are we gonna talk about the toaster incident? Or should we leave that?
No, we don't. We never talk about the toaster incident.
Okay, understood.
NDA. I mean,
NDA.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges for design, at least, was the difficulty of the project of the game itself. I know that, you know, up until like a couple, maybe 4 weeks before we shipped it, the game was really, really, really hard. Like most people that played it couldn't get through to the end. And so there was a lot of work in design, at least. Again, I can't speak for the other disciplines, but there was a lot of work in building the level, testing it, making changes, testing it again, making changes again, and going back and forth and doing that process over and over and over and over again. And eventually
we eventually had a very long feedback form for people, just so we could get a better idea on how to fix things.
Yeah, so that was probably the biggest design challenge, is the difficulty, which I think we were able to overcome in the end. After we shipped it, we got some people to play that, you know, haven't played a lot of games before, and they were able to get to the very end. So I think we were able to...
It took me a few tries, but I was able to get there. So, you know.
But you made it to the end. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think
if
you guys
anything
were
was too
successful.
difficult, you could probably blame me.
Yeah.
I kept making things harder because I found it too easy for myself, which was not a good thing.
You like can speed run it so quickly now. I will say I can't complete it as fast as you, but I was very proud of myself when I got to the end. I was like, woohoo, go me.
Let's go, Emma.
You're the levels, and you're the one that built them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot.
And what was on the other side of that? So on the other side of challenges, what was your favorite part about making the game?
Having a team, we could make an idea we had something like really big and actually fun and special. I just liked working with a team and making the game for what it is. I just found that part really fun.
Yeah, it definitely is great. And I remember like, you know, talking to you guys and just seeing the dynamic of your team. You all work so well together between like the programmers and the artists and of course you guys. So it was really great to see how much like communication you guys had, which is key, obviously. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of a. I guess it's not really a cop out, but I think I'm same with Noah. Like, I think my favorite part of the project was the fact that the team worked so well together. Like, even though we were in lockdown and Melbourne was in lockdown and we were all online, everybody was constantly talking to each other and sending stuff, being like, "Hey, what do you think of this? Check it out." And we didn't have any conflict. There were no fights. We just worked together on the game, and we ended up building it. So I think, just like Noah, that was probably my favorite part, which is a little bit because it's not actually anything in the game, but
no, but the amount of groups I've spoken to when they say my favorite part was actually just working with the team, like I find that that's often the students' favorite part. Is they love actually putting an idea together and being like, we did it, we all did it, and we supported each other, and it works, and people like it, and that's their favorite part, is actually just the experience of making it. So now obviously we're wrapping up, we're finishing up our second year, and you guys looking towards the next step. Do you guys have any goals for the future? Is there any goals for Splatacle? Like, what's the next step for both of you? Other way. Yeah.
Well, Spatacle is probably going to be on the shelf from now on. We've made it and it's done. We're probably not going to touch it, or at least not for the next little while. It might see a Steam release, possibly, but I think the team is going to be moving on to different projects. I think we've all made our connections through this project, so we might work on stuff together. We might split off and do stuff separately, but Splatacle's done for now. And I'm not sure about Noah. I'm going to be making some more games next year. I've got one in the pipeline, going to be ready by the end of January. Ooh. Some more after that as well.
Ooh,
so
a teaser.
Fun stuff to look forward to. Yeah, a teaser. Stay tuned. What about you, Noah? What are you up to after this?
I don't think I have anything planned for January. Wow, you madman. But I've been writing up a few game design documents of ideas I've had. I want to try to get at least one, if I can possibly, maybe 2 games on Steam for $1 or something, just to earn a little income to try to be able to pay for a team to do something, because money always gets team members in. And among that, I'll be getting my favorite games, and I'll be making my own prototypes of them to see how they do things, how I can replicate it, and just learning more about programming, art, and game design to try to do my own stuff in the future.
Awesome. Great. Well, that's a little bit on Splatacle. We might see if we get some audience questions at the end. But for now, let's move over to the Pound. So hello, Michael.
Hello.
How are you going? Thank you for sitting and hearing Splatacle. What did you think of the game?
Not a problem.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's fantastic. I'd actually been looking at their game since their pitch, because I was asked to look at some of the pitches from other campuses like from early on. So yeah, and I think I gave you plenty of feedback.
There you go. Michael's like, it was so hard at the beginning, I could not complete it. He's one of the
I'm pretty sure my 7-year-old said it was pretty hard. Yeah.
So there
again, that's on me.
Now, Michael, did you want to give us a little bit of a summary of what the Pound is, and then we'll have a look at the trailer?
So the Pound's a third-person action-adventure game. So if you think of things like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, those sorts of games. But I based it in a place that I worked for quite a while, which is up in the Flinders Ranges in South Australia. So an area up there called Wilpena Pound. I'd previously made a tabletop role-playing game based around the exact same area called the same thing. So yeah, it's about our main character, Casey. So one of the stories within there, and him starting to become a defender for the Pound. So 20 years after the apocalypse actually happened, you've got these rage-induced people that just come and destroy areas, zombie-like, but they're still living. So yeah, check it out.
Awesome. Well, let's play the trailer.
Why don't you just grab a drink there, sit around the campfire, and listen? So you found your way to the Pound, a community formed to protect people far from the destruction that fell on our cities. To get here, you must have got past the corrupted humans called Ragers that now roam this earth. But we're all infected with the corruption, you know. In the heat of battle, the changes come fast. When the heart really starts pumping, you can feel it. You're faster, more powerful, but your blood blackens. And then the whispers start.
Awesome.
Whoa, what a good game.
Yeah.
Did you see that map?
It doesn't use all of it. No, we never would have been able to.
Awesome. Well,
It's the environment that matters.
Yeah, correct, Noah. So let's start off with the beginning. Let's talk about what it was like. What's the breakdown of your team? How many players did we have working on the different areas?
So we started with 2 designers, 2 artists, 3 programmers. But then we were pretty lucky in the last about 7 weeks to pick up 1 more artist, which really helped us push across the line. So it was a very heavy game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see by the characters and, the environment that they're obviously having that, and especially having it referenced in an actual area that South Australians would know. It needs to look good so they go,
yeah.
I know what this is.
Yeah, some of the trees and things we had in early were very interesting, not Australian.
What was it like actually basing it off a real area and off your own experiences? Was that a pretty easy pitch to create?
It's a pretty easy pitch. It was difficult to get a team together. A lot of people looked at it and went, this is going to be huge. This is going to be really hard to pull off in 15 weeks. So I tried to let them know, we've got a pretty tight scope. We're just going to do 1 act. I'm not going any bigger. Don't care if we get finished in time. We'll just polish it. But yeah, as part of it, I traveled up and revisited old friends and yeah, got to take a whole heap of photos, reference photos and stuff for artists. So it was really good to get back up there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you said that did you say that it was originally a board game? Did I hear that correctly?
A tabletop role-playing game, so I think Dungeons & Dragons style stuff.
Yeah, cool. Was it easier to transfer it into like a project, having that base knowledge of it, so that you could have worked out some of the kinks of that?
Yeah, it meant I already had a lot of the world built, so a lot of that side was, we didn't have to spend a lot of time on that, so I could just go, here's one story that I want to tell in that area, so we focused on Casey's story, and yeah, we didn't have to go too much into thinking about how the world worked and how things interacted with each other.
Yeah, definitely. And what? So you said that. Sorry. Where did the? Sorry. Noah, do you mind muting just so I can?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah. No, that's okay. You're just humming. It's a fun part of technology. So you tell me what it's like working as a designer on the project, because obviously your experiences would have been very different to the artist. What was kind of your role and what did you focus most on?
Okay, so early on, a lot of it was coming out of my head. So it was trying to get people started on stuff that we knew we were going to need. So artists were like, okay, we need these sorts of trees. We can get those into there. Programmers, we need these kind of controls. And so get everyone going while I kind of crafted up a bit of a narrative for them. And then just edited from there. yeah, it was very much get everyone working in different areas. So kind of artists had a main artist that they could go to. Well, they worked pretty well with two of them, but split up. Okay, you want to do the characters, you want to do the more of the hard modeling and the trees and the buildings and that sort of stuff. So we worked that way to begin with them, and then programming wise, we had a bit of a not COVID caused, but location caused. So we had some people working outside of campus for a fair bit of it. So we had one guy that was on campus a lot as far as programmers, so kind of made him lead programmer, so people could talk to him and make sure everything fit in with where we're going. Yeah. So kind of very much division of labor.
Yeah, definitely. And did that help, having those separate roles that were like easily identified? Did that help with the efficiency of the project?
Very much so, I think. Especially things like having a lead programmer, we could just like all bounce things straight off of him. Okay, they have to do TDD. Okay, everyone, you have to go talk to Leo. Leo, get it all organized and get all those bits and pieces in there. So and I think it freed me up to get a lot of that other side of things done. So.
Yeah, definitely. How much did the project change from your initial concept? Like throughout it, because obviously it's quite story heavy. Did that stay pretty much the same, or did that change?
The story stayed pretty similar. Not a lot of things changed. I guess some stuff got scaled back, especially just art wise. We weren't able to. So things like showing the rages much more their development through becoming these really nasty creatures. Some of that had to just get pulled back a little bit, but we were still successful in making some pretty horrid looking creatures.
I feel like all of our teams, like, I mean, obviously they can't, but they're already working so much time into it, but like they still need that, like, they just need more time to be able to like perfect every little thing. It's like a common thing that gets around. But I feel like also if we continued the project, everyone would be like, oh no, I just don't do anything else except for create this game. So
yeah, if you had a couple more weeks of polish at the end where you get to go crazy and put all the things in. So just all the stuff that got added by our artists in the last couple of weeks, everything from like there's a can of beans that has a cartoon picture of one of our lecturers on it.
Yeah.
With his permission.
That's my favorite thing, is finding all of the little details that our students put in that are like Easter eggs for all of the stuff, and they're like, hee. I love that. So what is something about your game? I asked this to the other guys, but what's something about your game that makes it like stand out a little bit from a lot of the other games that might have been produced around the same time or of the same sort of style?
I think you can't go past the Australian outback. It's so underused, so unbelievably underused. Everything feels very Eurocentric. Going back playing, you God of Wars and Horizon Zero Dawn the last couple of weeks and going, I kind of miss, our really red dirt, the white of the gum trees with the green. It's just an amazing, like, if you get the chance, just get out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think
and the kangaroos, man, and the kangaroos.
Unfortunately, the kangaroos got scoped out, as did our emus, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah,
a tragedy. Our Australian animals must be in every single game. That's my petition.
You can hear them. You can, especially the annoying cockatoos. But
Did you create the sound too? Like, because designers often take on that charge. Did you do a bit of the sound design for the game, or did one of the other designers?
Yeah, so we did a bit of sound design. A lot of stuff was already recorded or already grabbed stuff that we could. But like the narrative wise, originally we wanted the Adnamatna people, the indigenous people from up there, to actually voice our characters, but unfortunately due to scheduling and stuff that fell through. So unfortunately you got stuck with some of our game designers like me in there.
I think you sound great. Definitely a career in voice acting. So that's all good. Now, what is so obviously we've got a lot of different areas, like a lot of different phases in making the game. What are some of the challenges you faced at the beginning that you thought were going to be some of the really big problems? Like, were they the same problems that you thought at the end were still going to be your biggest issues?
I think originally my programmers thought they were going to be done in 6 weeks and all good. They looked at the systems and went, "Yep, we're going to be done. Not a problem, easy." We were still hammering out stuff with programming in the polish weeks. So that definitely, there was definitely a lot more to that than what we could do. And then some things just had to get scoped out that we really wanted to do. So we have an active skill system within the game, but we had to pull out stuff like some things like a zoomable map and that sort of stuff, just due to time.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, Michael, do you want to bring up the game and get it all going? And we might actually just have a look. So do you want to do a little bit of a run through of like what some of the really cool stuff in your environment's about that you really enjoyed?
So this was really fun, just chucking together this main menu here was something I got to do just using assets that we had in there. So so you notice there's an acknowledgement of country. So I liaised a fair bit with the elders up there, the Adnamatna people. So made sure I did a lot of work with them. And we have a disclaimer because when we sent the first character through, one of the Adnamatna people up there was like, "Is that my cousin?" So we had to make sure, people didn't think it was him. So we've got Casey's story. So we thought about pitching this as kind of a episodic game, so we could kind of release it bit by bit. So got Casey's story. We'll just load that up. So you also notice the cutscenes are just these stylized art. It's just like pictures from in game. That was.
So were they created by your artists?
They were me.
They were you. They're very good.
Yeah.
So.
So I've got a bit of background in programming and art as well. So I was able to fill in a lot of roles in there.
Yeah. So did that help with your knowledge of communicating with the other areas as well?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. It meant that if I talked to the programmers, I could say this is what we want. So.
Awesome.
Just throw a bunch of pseudocode at them.
Yeah. I think sometimes it drove them a bit mad though, because I'd jump in and start programming, and then they're like, "Oh, we've got to fix Michael's stuff again." So tool tips in there because that came from feedback within the game. I've got our main character Casey here. Ooh, we're running a bit.
Is it
running
frozen
a bit laggy
for everyone?
I think the video has frozen.
That's okay. We might see if we can get.
I'm not frozen on my end. I think the video
That's
has.
okay. You did just break up before, so I'm wondering whether it might be your internet on your end. But we'll give it a minute and see if it starts working again. Now, what is one of your favorite parts about this project, and one of your favorite parts about actually making the game?
I think it's just seeing how much it can develop in those last few weeks. I went back after we finished the game a couple of weeks later and looked at some of the early photos that we'd put up and went, this game is just almost entirely different to what we originally showed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite amazing to see how much it changed. Being able to drop all the trees in and the other parts in there, but apparently sharing again. We can see.
Yeah, it's working.
The internet is dropping.
There we go.
Just wait for it to come up on there. So I guess it was all those sorts of things. So being able to talk to the Adnamatna people and give other people a voice, as I've had to do with like games. This is running very laggy. So the main character is Indigenous, so Adnamatna. Probably 20-year-old male. We did play originally with the idea of having like male and female, kind of like your Mass Effect, being able to choose. So having Casey is a very androgynous name. So is that frozen again?
That's okay. It's like a snapshot of each of them.
Snapshot. Well, I'll stop near this tree. So we've got this major tree in the center, which is when people become heavily corrupted within the game, they are exiled from the area, and so you actually see one name there, which is Virginia Manson, and that was my mum, and she passed away during during the time that we were making this game. So it was an amazing thing to be able to like have her in the game. Something that
definitely.
pushed us through. So yeah.
That's awesome. It's always so great to see personal touches put into games as well. What are some of the core mechanics that you're really proud of in the game?
So we've got our combat, which is kind of light attacks, heavy attacks, lock-on, so very Dark Soul-esque and ranged. But then other things that we've been able to drop in really quickly. So like when it catches up there, we've put a waypoint system in, and everything in the game has a reason or something it's attached to. So even though it's this big floating W in the screen, you'd see they are all above actual trail markers.
Okay.
Along the trail. So they look like actual, it's actual hiking sections.
Oh, cool.
As far as like leveling up and getting skill game, you've got your combat-based skills, but then you've got your survival-based stuff, and all of that is around actually finding these Adnamatna stories. They're Uramura, so it's like they're dreaming. So the one that you can find in this first act is one that talks about how the robin got its red breast, and he talks about he's eating mistletoe berries. So we link that into the skill of being able to collect more medicine. So everything has a reason to be in there.
I really like that touch.
So you want to get better at survival skills, you have to find the stories that help teach you those survival skills.
Yeah, that's a great way of actually communicating a lot of the important stuff in a game. Awesome. Well, I think I might have a solution to the game, so we might get that going. But if you want to, what do you like? What do you want to do next? So obviously you've finished now. You did the 6 months intensive, which is really awesome that you guys are able to then slot into year 2 really perfectly. What are you wanting to do after now that you've finished up? And do you want to go into a studio? Do you want to like make your own games? And what's the next step?
So yeah, I'm really hoping to pick up. Really hoping to pick up some work pretty soon. As far as taking the pound somewhere, I would really, really, really love to be able to do that. But that's a thing of either having to build up the money to be able to do it, or finding a studio that would love to take it on and take it from there.
Awesome. And do you have any advice? This is actually for all of you. Do you guys have any advice for students who are for our first years who are going into second year next year? This is the pound as well. We'll talk about that in a second. Answer the question first.
That's a hard question.
I guess there's a lot of choices in there, and you kind of got to make your choice and stick to it. So I've been told by industry people, well, you can make exactly what the industry that you're going to go into. So if in Adelaide it's a lot of mobile games, so we could have just made a mobile game based around that to try and get into the industry. For me, it was, here's a passion project. It might be the only time that I have to that I have to do this. So for me, that's why I really pushed for that. So, make your decision based off of what you really want to do with it, I think. If you think your passion project's not going to get you anywhere, you might put it on the back burner. But yeah, think about, how it's going to either fill out your portfolio as well on that side of things.
Awesome. How about you, Noah?
I think mine would be try to be as communicative to your team as possible. Like, if something's going on in your life, making things a bit hard to work, tell them that. If you have more time, tell them that. Absolutely everything. You have to let your team know. If you have time to do more work, or someone's sick and you want to say you're taking the load because everyone's kind of throwing the ball like, oh, you should take the work. You just need to make sure you communicate to your team what would be best for you, for your group members, and for the project itself, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Great advice. Jibrill,
I'll just jump in for a sec. Just if you head to the left and go down the hill. Sorry. Go down that way. You should be able to find the farmstead down that way.
So Jibrill has taken over playing the game so that we could have a look
nice.
at it. So
Thank
did
you,
you want to
Jibrill.
run us through some of the stuff that's going on the screen now that we've seen it?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to go more left. You're going out of the playable area. That's one of the things. So we kind of ran out. Yeah, back towards the south. So I guess this is one of the things I really loved is being able to bring that really Australian look to everything, but that feel. So as he comes over towards these buildings, hopefully we will see a few more of these very old stone brick. Well, as you got the toilets and the house
Always
over there.
important.
So yeah. Well, going into the toilets, you need to watch out for rages. So if you do go in there, be prepared for a fight.
They're coming out being ragey
Run.
over the toilet paper.
Very much so. They have to use long drops. They're not happy. So yeah, a lot of stuff like you got your medicine things behind you, or some arrows and other stuff that are on there. So like I said, there's a tooltip system that was brought in just because that was something people asked for. But being able to drop all these extra little bits in. So we've got this section. Sorry, if you play the game as well, if people go on to the pound.itch.io and then go play the game themselves, you'll see there was also a battle arena. So talking to some industry people about a week before we handed it up, they said it'd be awesome to have just a go. We just want to fight, see what the combat's like. So our system was able to throw that together in a week. So there's
Awesome.
a 3-wave narrative of, we'd say Thunderdome, but it's not Thunderdome. Basically a little battle of our characters. So where to from here? We'd love to do, I'd love to do other stories, like to finish Casey's, but we talked about like his uncle who he headed towards like young Jarrah 20 years before, when stuff was actually going down before all the defenses were built.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Well, it's great that we were able to actually, see all of the work you've done. It's really awesome to see a project that is so like Australian, I would say, and one that's like based in an area that people could go, oh, I recognize that. So congratulations.
Yeah, so it used an actual geosatellite height map, and then we crunched and changed that.
Whoa, that's cool.
It's cool when the other designers are like, whoa. So awesome. Well, congratulations to all of you. I think just showing this live stream, obviously this is just 2 projects, but this year we just had such a huge amount of amazing projects. So it was great to see a bit of an example of a project from Adelaide and Canberra. So congratulations to all of you. You've done so well this year. So we're all very proud of you. So thank you so much for joining us. I might shoot over to Matt, who's going to give us a little bit of a wrap up and maybe mention some stuff that's happening for 2022.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Emma. So let me just quickly pull up the website here, everybody. So if you were watching tonight and you are interested in learning more, by all means, head to the website aie.edu.au. There's plenty of information on here for you. And they've got some pretty cool stuff happening in 2022. We've got some pretty massive plans. Probably the biggest is our brand new course of virtual production, which we're really excited to see launch. So if anyone here is interested in filmmaking, traditional filmmaking, we will be rolling a new course out, we'll be mixing it with the new technology of virtual production. But of course, we've still got our 4 other courses which we specialize in. So we've got all of these. In 2022 as well, we are planning to have an information evening, or we will be running an information evening in January as well, which is really exciting. So this one's going to be a little bit more relaxed as it's the start of the year. Everyone will be coming fresh out of the holidays. So the plan is actually to have students on campus And we're actually going to be playing games with them. So if you did like the look of the Pound or Splatacle tonight, come along to the information evening in January. We're going to be playing other student games, some designers, programmers, artists all contributing to their projects, as well as we'll be showing off the films or our shorts from our visual effects students as well. So come along, play some games, hear more about the courses and about your potential pathway into the games and film industry. So if you do have any questions for us, please get in touch. However, in saying that, we are going to be taking being on holidays over the Christmas break. But if you send us a question just via the Ask a Question here, we'll get back to you as soon as we are back. Or if you're ready to apply now and study as our guests have tonight, our students, or graduates now actually, have tonight. It feels good saying that. Then head into the Apply Now button and you can fill out the courses here as well. So lots of information there for you. But other than that, thank you so much for being with us, not just for tonight, but for the whole of 2021. It was a really special year for a lot of students. There were some ups, there were some downs, but overall, like, we all got through it. And on the end of it, we've seen some incredible major projects and some pretty awesome games and some pretty awesome films made as well. So from everybody at AIE, we're very, very proud of all of our students, and we can't wait to see them flourish in industry very soon as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that wraps everything up for tonight. A big thank you to all of our guests, Jibrill, Noah, Emma, and Michael, and we will see you in January. But everyone have a safe holiday season, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Merry
See
Christmas,
ya.
you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.